The price of platinum got off to a good start this year. In February, it punched up to about 1345, put it at its best levels since the summer of 2014. But since then, it's been pretty sideways. So is there more to come from platinum for the rest of the year? Or actually, is the risk that this trend is going to run out of steam? I thought it'd be interesting to take a look at platinum, given the strong move we had in February and the somewhat uneventful trading, I think we can say, since then. Just looking at whether this trend is going to continue. The trend I've picked up on here goes back to the lows of March of last year. Trend line's coming in at the moment just below 1100. So I thought let's take a look at it in a bit more detail. So as usual, in this video, I'll talk a bit about what's been going on in recent months. We'll come back onto this, look at it in more detail and see if there's a trade to do. We've got the usual mix of trades going on. We do have some metals. We've got a silver trade in there, copper as well. And then we've got a couple of gold trades that have been doing okay, but nothing in platinum. So let's see if we can change that. So when we come back, we'll take a look at things from a medium-term point of view and see if we can set a trade up. Hello, I'm David Jones from Capital.com, and I thought this time around we would take a look at platinum. It had a strong start to the year, but it's definitely lost a whole load of momentum over the last few months. So I thought, well, let's do an update, take a look at it in a bit more detail and see where the opportunity might be next. So as usual in this video, I'll talk about some of the things that have been driving it recently, what to look out for, then we'll jump back onto the platform and take a look at things in a bit more detail and see if there's a trade to do. If you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, if you could click on subscribe, it does help support the channel. And of course, now every Friday we do live streams from 2:30 UK time, running for an hour, looking at a whole mix of different markets. If you're subscribed with the alarm bell pushed on YouTube, you get a notification just as we're about to go live. Right, let's get into it and take a look at the platinum price in a bit more detail. So as I said, we did see a strong start to the year. In February of this year, platinum traded to its best level in more than 6 years. It has lost a lot of momentum since then, but it's still up about 7% year to date. As with other markets, the increasing sort of vaccination rollout around the world had raised hopes of a return back to somewhere near normal for the global economy and a corresponding pickup in demand for industrial metals such as platinum. The World Platinum Investment Council came out with a report and has said in recent weeks this will be the third year in a row that platinum demand should outstrip supply. But I have to say, we're not really seeing that play out with its price over recent months. A third of the demand for platinum comes from the car sector, used in catalytic converters as a way to reduce emissions. So again, the hopes are, as the global car business gets back to normal, gets back to building more cars, we'll see demand for platinum there. But like I say, since those February highs, it's all been a bit unexciting, to be honest. We've seen the price trade broadly sideways over the last 3 months or so. So is this just a pause before it pushes higher? Or actually, is that recovery really starting to run out of steam? Let's talk about the levels to watch. Then we'll jump onto the platform and take a look at things in more detail. So the high hit in February was at 1344. We've had a lower high since then, coming in around $1,280 for platinum. On the downside, we are near what had been fairly important lows. We've got a short-term low in at 1,145, but the big low from March for me comes in at around $1,100. So as usual, let's put some color on these numbers. Let's take a look on the chart, see if there's a trade, take a look at things in more detail. So let's look at this trend in platinum in a bit more detail. We do have a trend off the March lows in 2020. We've got a succession of higher highs, higher lows. But as I said, since high in February, the price sold off quite heavily. And then pretty much since March, we've been stuck in this somewhat sideways range for the price of platinum. I do have a 20-day moving average on here. Moving averages are great when the price is trending. We had a buy signal back here in November of last year, a sell signal as it came off the highs in late February. But you can see the signals since March have been pretty useless because in sideways moving markets, moving averages are no good. The price just flip-flops around the moving average. Probably the latest signal we had, that's done okay actually. The sell signal since the middle of May. It's still short that moving average now since the price fell below it. If we take a look at the RSI down here, the RSI did drop. It looks very briefly, or at least touched oversold in June on that move down at the beginning of June. We've got to go back to March to see the last buy signal off the RSI, the last signal actually for the RSI, March the 4th, off those lows at 1100. So that does make me think, well, is there perhaps a buying opportunity down here, looking to see if this trend can continue for the rest of the year? So let's take a look at this trend. As I say, the trend line's coming in around 1075, that sort of area on that trend. So really, if we're going to expect the trend to resume, we'd probably be expected to see some strength coming in now. The medium-term target for the rest of the year, if the trend was going to carry on, would be a run back up to those old highs, about 1345, 1350. If we saw those levels break, then I think it's not too ambitious to look at July 2014 highs, just up above $1,500 for platinum. So I think it is a really interesting market to watch from here. But for me, if we start to lose this $1,100 level, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to fall off a cliff, but perhaps the risk is we see a much deeper sell-off back towards 1,000, where it was towards the end of last year, and that trend really in trouble. So I think it is interesting down here. But what I'd like to do is a trade, and I want to be a buyer. I'm going to go with this overall trend. As usual, what I need to figure out is, where does my stop go? So for me, the tightest I'd want my stop, probably the other side of the March low. So the March low is at 1105, that sort of area. Let's give it perhaps a bit more wiggle room and just drop it below the late January low at around about 1040. So that's where my stop's going to go, in at 1040. I'm going to buy now. I could put an order in and wait to see if I get a better price, but I'm quite happy to buy with a stop at 1040. I think if it does trade down to those levels, it does look like this trend is in some trouble. So let's set the trade up. So I'm ready to go. The price at the moment is about 1164 an ounce. I would like to buy 2.9. I'm going to trade now where the price is trading now. I'm putting my stop loss in at 1040. So the other side of the late January low. You can see that there on the chart. And it's for the usual risk on this account that we do for these trades of around £250. So that's it. It's all set up and ready to go. Let's click on buy and open the position. So my trade's in. I bought 2.9 at 1164.21. I've got my stop in place. And I think it's an interesting one to watch to see how it plays out in the weeks and the months to come. Like I say, that trend is still up. I would be expecting some strength to come in around 1100. Now, perhaps it'll take a while to turn around. My target is for a run back up to those highs, up around about 1350, 1340, that sort of area. If it falls much below 1100, I think this trend is in trouble. It has been a boring few months in platinum, but markets aren't exciting all the time. But for now, I'm happy to go with this bigger trend. That's it for the update in platinum. We'll see if it can spark back into life over the next few months. We'll come back and do an update. But for now, from me, David Jones and Capital.com, we'll leave things there. Good luck with your trading. For more trading videos just like this, please subscribe to our channel.